Howdy, howdy, howdy. Theresa again. As promised, I said I would be making a few vlogs today. Just because I feel like it, right? And I know that sometimes, usually my daily vlogs are just about my daily life, and a lot of times that can be pretty damn boring, frankly. But, I keep it real, and I like other people's daily vlogs, even if they're, sometimes they're not that interesting, because life isn't all full of, excitement. I'm gonna make a vlog about what it's like to be an older adult with Asperger's and a female, which would be me. I was originally diagnosed with ADHD in the school system. At first they thought that maybe I had mental retardation, because I also have a hearing impairment from birth or shortly thereafter, which, of course, leads to a speech impediment. Well, at first they thought maybe I had some mental retardation. Then they finally discovered that no, I only have half my hearing. But still, they couldn't understand why I was having so much trouble with, like, the concept of reading. And so they put me in special ed classes. Then they quickly learned that, no, I didn't belong in special ed classes. And they tested me, and I had a very high IQ. Then they finally said, oh, she's got ADHD, which is commonly back then, and I guess still today, I don't know. A child will be misdiagnosed for having ADHD, when in reality what they really have is Asperger's, or now it's called high functioning autism. Same thing. For me, I had both. I had ADHD and Asperger's, and I still do. It's not something that you grow out of. I still have ADHD, even though I'm not, I've learned to control it. I still have Asperger's. Every person with Asperger's is different. The range is different. Some are not sensitive enough. Some of us are overly sensitive, and some have a mix. It runs in my family. My main thing was back when I was in grade school, they did not understand it. There was no special program for it. All it meant was that you were put on high doses of Ritalin, and I was. And if I misbehaved, my mother would give me another Ritalin. And Ritalin, if not really, the diet not really washed, and a lot of kids can really put on the weight, which it did with me. And my mother did not control my diet at all, like eliminating sugar and all of that kind of stuff that you're supposed to do. My mother was not tolerant of me having Asperger's at all, not understanding a bit. I was to conform. I was to shut up and sit in a corner. This was a heavy burden on her, and how dare her child have it. She still to this day does not understand, and that's why we just, don't have a relationship at all. Having Asperger's has caused a lot of problems, and this is in no way a video that I want anybody to feel sorry for me or anything, because I don't feel sorry for myself. But having Asperger's has caused me to be very introverted, and I don't really have any friends or anything, because to me, I don't know how to do the social graces. I just don't understand it, and To me, if I like someone, I like someone. And if I don't like someone, I don't like someone. And I'm not going to pretend either way. It's just very cut and dry with me. It's very black and white. And I don't get that some of these people might say to somebody that they don't like they don't like Sally, but then Sally walks in the room and everybody acts like they weren't talking about her and they were friends. I have a tendency to sometimes blurt out what's on my mind and I've learned over the years to get better, but still, and sometimes I'm overly sensitive about something and people just think I'm being a maniacal bitch. One of the things that I wish that people would do is become a lot more aware of that, you cut so much slack for children with Asperger's and how they may react to certain situations. You still need to do that with the adults. If I tell you I don't understand something, I mean I don't understand it. For instance, I have a hard time reading, okay, I have always done a lot of crafts. You guys know that. I'm very artistic. You guys have seen some of my artwork. I'm very artistic, and I also do a lot of crafts, and that's how I make my living. And I have done, I have done it all. I have done sign painting. I have done commercial artwork. I have done ceramics. I have done cross stitch. I have done gallery glass, if anybody remembers that. I have done sewing. I have done, I don't know if I said cross stitch. I've done ribbon embroidery. I had a candle business where I made highly scented decorative candles and sold them. Now I do I crochet the ruffle scarves, and I loom Afghans and stuff. Now, so I've read a lot of patterns is my point. I cannot for the life of me read a crochet pattern. I don't understand it. I just don't get it. Now, I've read so many cross stitch patterns and with the different stitches and stuff. I've got to watch a YouTube video to even do the looming. And then, if it's printed anywhere, the pattern, I can watch the video and pick up what they mean. And that's so frustrating to me. Sometimes my husband will say something to me. He's like, well, didn't you know that? And I'm like, I don't get it. And he's so wonderful about it, but he will patiently explain to me what something means. But usually it's a social thing, or it's something to do with how a human reacts or something. See, my mother also is having no patience at all with me. And that's a whole nother story. But she never taught me worked with me on how to react or anything. And I'm still pretty clueless. I mean, I don't understand why a lot of people act that way. Like I said, if I like you, I like you. If I don't, I don't. I don't pretend. No, I'm not mean to you or nasty to you. If you walk in the room, I'll just ignore you. But I don't know. And I have a tendency to tell somebody exactly how I feel, and I guess you shouldn't. I don't know. It can be difficult. If you have a child with Asperger's, it does get easier because your child is taught how to react. But I guess that's my biggest thing. Teach your child how society wants them to react to certain situations, and you will be really helping your child, because in minds we just don't understand. Now somebody said, if let's say the principal of the school walks in, you need to be smiling and sit up straight and, have your desk clear and stuff. Then I know how to react. Otherwise, seriously, I probably would be slouching in my chair just I'm serious. Teach your kids how to react, but then also make people around them aware that if Johnny reacts this way and you don't understand, say Sally falls and cracks her head open, but Johnny reacts like he could care less, remember that he has Asperger. And he might be neurosensitive to that, so he is not really reacting. Even though in his head he is, and he might be horrified, on the outside, his expression and his emotions emitted are going to be like he could care less. Inside his head, he's probably screaming and horrified and feels so bad, but in it, yeah. And then on the other spectrum, there's people like me who, and I've learned, but, even like, say in junior high, I remember this boy was getting beat up by this group of boys, and I was horrified. And it bothered me, and I sat and I cried all night and stuff. Because, I was just so horrified, and I felt so bad for him, and I was so worried about him and stuff. And I'm the type who, wants to go and make everybody happy, and so I will overextend myself, try too hard, give people stuff, and I still do that today, and I know that, but that's just part of me too. I enjoy making people happy. But so you ever think, oh my God, Teresa's a maniacal bitch, and she's just coming across this way, and she's not, very nice. No, I really am a nice person. It just, I don't know how to react to certain situations, so if I don't know how to react, I won't react at all. Like I said, some forms of the spectrum, when I tell you guys I'm feeling overwhelmed, it's because a lot of people around me, or my friends and stuff, even on Facebook, are all having such a hard time, and I'm feeling very overwhelmed. I get overwhelmed very easily on the littlest things. My husband, thank gosh for him, he has learned to just say, stop stressing about it, I'll take care of it. He knows I get overwhelmed very easily on things, One of the things I've learned to do is really concentrate on something, because of the Asperger's and ADHD. But then I'm so hyper-focused on that one thing that then other things will fall on the wayside. And that's another thing that my grandson is so like me. And then so we overachieve on that one thing. But, okay, for me, for instance, right now, I'm really focused on my business, my yarn business, my Etsy business, trying to get orders and stuff and get these orders out. So that means that my housework is falling on the wayside. So that in turn means then I stress out because I see that my housework is building up and I'm being hypersensitive, and the biggest part of me wants to just shove everything aside and just manically clean. But I know I can't because I got to keep on top of the orders. Because I got to keep on top of the orders to help with the finances. And then my husband says, stop stressing about the finances so much. I'll take care of that. But you see, and I go from where, and I'm very introverted, where I stick to myself and my animals a lot. I consider my animals my best friends. Because they're so simple. They either like you or they don't, But, so anyway, yeah. So what I have to do, literally, another thing that may help your child, for us, with Asperger's, structure, 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 schedule, schedule, schedule. We have a hard time with change. Very hard time. And the change has to be our doing. And we have to invite you into our little world. I have to schedule every day. Like from 1 to 3, I'm going to work on this Afghan. From 3 to 4, I'm going to work on making these slippers. From 4 to 5, I'm going to take a nap. You know, I mean, I literally have to, how I function the best. You know, and you throw a big kink, I'm not real spontaneous because of that, because I have a hard time with just throwing a schedule out. That's why I don't like, also another thing with me, with Asperger's, I don't like people over in my home, unless I know you're coming, and then if I've invited you into my home, otherwise I don't like you in my home, and it's not that I don't like you, it's just, this is my little private world, this is my bubble, you know. Why are you looking at me like that, Charlie? Him is looking at his mommy. He's sitting there. You know, he's got those great big old eyes. Right, Charlie? But, yeah, so, I mean, it's not that I don't love my friends or anything, but I'm not open to that. Be patient with anybody with Asperger, young or old. Ask them how they're feeling, and even say, you know, can you tell me why you're reacting that way? That helps, because if you can get us talking, that really helps. Because we feel very, excuse me, I feel very trapped in my head. And I think a lot of other Aspergers feel that way too. And if you notice that I'm rocking it, that's one of the things. You know, yeah, you feel very trapped in your head, and like nobody understands you. But then the other upside part is there's some things I can just catch on so fast, and like for me, it's not the music and stuff, but it's the artwork. And I mean, you get me talking about artwork and ideas, and my mind just spinning 100 miles an hour, and I'm just like bam, 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 bam. I just come up with just some of the most insane, incredible, cool things. And you know, I mean, I wish I had more time for that, but right now I'm having to, you know, do a lot of work to help with finances. If anybody has any questions about it, any questions, or want to know, you know, how would you handle this with your child? How would you handle that with your child? A lot of us are really sensitive to sights, to smells, to textures. A lot of us will have an aversion to certain kind of textures of food, or certain spices, even temperatures of food. Or like me, I am very, very sensitive to smells, extremely sensitive to smells, and also textures like I really like super, super soft, not silky, but soft. You know, I'm very, very close with my animals. They're my best friends besides my husband. Right, Charlie, man? Him is looking at me. Oh, him now he's sitting up. Oh, Charlie the Mastiff is sitting up. He was snuggling with me in bed. I opened up my bedroom door, and he was in there. He was all happy. He was all happy, weren't you, Charlie? Yeah, and but yeah, I mean, don't judge before you really talk to somebody. Most people looking at me would never guess I have Asperger's, because there aren't, genetically, there aren't a whole lot of females with Asperger's and ADHD. Like I said, it runs in my family on my father's side. And, It's so easy for somebody to judge you because they think that you're quote normal, whatever that is. I firmly believe everybody's got some Asperger's in them. It's just I believe that there's a big wonderful bouquet of different varieties of genetic makeups and function and misfunctions and all of that. So, wait, that's my take on what it's like to be an adult with Asperger's. I've learned to, and I don't do crowds well at all. I don't do, like Las Vegas is a hard, yeah, it's overwhelming. That's just too much. Too much noise and lights and stuff all going on at once. The cat is just trying to get, I don't know what he's trying to get. He's trying to get something. Oh, he's trying to get a bird. The bird feed is right outside the kitchen window, hanging up. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so any other questions, just feel free to ask me. I'm open book. I'm also on Facebook. My link is always below, or I'll share it. I'll put my normal links if you want to look at some of my Etsy stuff, or learn more about me, or like I said, all joined together. There really isn't much for adults with Asperger's out there that I find, at least living here in Wyoming. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys go and have a terrific day. And remember that I love you guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye.